What's going on, folks? Wes Pruitt, 4 Star Sports Media. Appreciate everybody watching and listening this morning. It is Friday, December 27th, 2024. We've made it past the Christmas rush. For some of us, it was insane. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a jam-packed show for you, or as we like to call it, a plate full of sports. We're going to talk a little NHL to start the day. Then we're going to bring in John Sturdivant, talk a little NFL. Then we'll get into college as we talk a little college hoops and college football as we round out the show today. Appreciate everybody watching and listening over on the 4 Star Sports Media X and 4 Star Sports Media and Hogs Happy Hour X page, as well as our YouTube page as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. And let's talk a little bit of NHL. So when you look across the league, there's a lot of games tonight. A lot of games. You've got the Blackhawks at the Sabres tonight as Connor Bedard sits within striking distance of tying Patrick Kane for the second most assists and points in a career by a Blackhawks teenager, which would be pretty exciting to watch. He leads the franchise. Eddie Olczyk leads the franchise in goals assisted and points by a teenager. You got the Colorado Avalanche at the Utah Hockey Club tonight. Clayton Keller needs only 4 points in Utah's final 3 games of 2024 to join a short list of players to record 40 points before the new year in the franchise's inaugural season. So that'll be fun to watch. Maple Leafs at Red Wings. You got Hurricanes at Devils tonight. You got Predators at Blues. Pre-game on this one, Predators have won each of the previous 4 contests against the Blues and can match their season-longest active win streak versus an opponent, which would be 5 games versus Chicago. Nashville's longest active run in a 10-game streak. Longest active run is a 10-game streak against the San Jose Sharks. And for the Blues, they're contesting their second to last game before heading to Wrigley Field on New Year's Eve for the big Discover Winter Classic against the Blackhawks. With the Blackhawks and Blues franchise is separated by roughly 300 miles. I've shared the same division for all but one season since 1970-1971 to produce the first Winter Classic rematch that we've seen thus far through the NHL. If you're the Blues tonight, you got to get a big win. You need a win over the Predators. This is a team that's really slowly become one of the Blues' just absolute rivals year in, year out. So you got to get a big win. You got Minnesota Wild travels to Dallas tonight to take on the Stars. The Stars have won each of its 4 previous contests against Minnesota, dating back to November 12th, 2023, and have more than tripled the Wild's goal total over that span, as Dallas has scored 21 goals, while Minnesota has only scored 6. The Stars have a longer active win streak against 2 clubs, and that's Detroit with 7 games and San Jose with 5. Speaking of San Jose, Vegas, the Golden Knights travel out there to take on the Sharks for a game tonight as well. So exciting stuff, very exciting stuff from the NHL. If you've been skating along with us throughout 2024, we've pretty well kept you skating along as the season has gone, and we're going to continue to do that. And then don't worry, baseball season's right around the corner as well. We got Northwest Arkansas Naturals right down the road, getting ready to crank back up for another season. And there's some really talented players coming through here as well. One being Mr. Jack Caglione, who we've got some stuff in the works for Mr. Jack as well. So exciting stuff. Let's go ahead and jump to the second topic, and that is the NFL. And when you look at the NFL, hold on, let's go ahead and get John in here real quick. Hang on one second. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you great. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So when you look at the NFL, exciting stuff took place over the weekend. By the way, John, let me just take a moment real quick. Uh, all of us here at Four Star Sports want to send, and just us as individuals, want to send our thoughts, prayers to Madison Pinkey, her family, and now the doctors administering to her. As she had a horrible car accident last night, flipped her car 4 times. Um, horrible, horrible crash. She has a thing on her Apple Watch that is a crash detection, and when she crashed, it notified her mother. So definitely thinking about her today. And I mean, we appreciate everything she does, but this is off the court. This is off the sidelines. This is Madison. We're praying for your girl. We're praying for the doctors as well, and as well as your family. So sorry, John. I just want to go ahead and get that in there. It just crossed my mind to make sure I said that.
No, you're fine. I was going to bring it up at the end of the show, but I'm glad you brought it up before I did. So
Yeah. So, man, some exciting. I mean, John, do you call a 6-3 Seahawks or 6-3 Seahawks Bears game exciting?
sure, no, yeah, who would have thought it, right? Like I knew Seattle was struggling scoring the football, but Chicago,
Yeah.
come on, Caleb Williams can score more than 3 points. But hey, credit Seattle's defense. But yeah, I just never thought in a million years that Thursday night score would be 6-3.
Yeah, and then we saw 31-2 as the Ravens knocked off the Texans. Then we saw the Chiefs continue to win, 29-10 over the Steelers. John, with the game coming up.
Speaking of,
Um,
hang on, did you hear
go
about
ahead.
that? The Seattle Chicago game though, like who's the guy that does the game with Kurt now? Forgive me. Oh, Al Michaels, right?
Mhm.
Al brought up the Kurt. Did you hear about baseball or a score earlier this season? Seattle beat Chicago 6-3, and Kurt said, "What a soccer score!" No, it was a baseball score between Seattle Mariners and the White Sox this
Gosh,
season
thanks for
in
bringing it
Chicago.
up. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Another loss. Thanks.
No, I didn't know if you
God,
heard about that joke last night or not, but
that's funny. Speaking of football, we got football on Saturday coming up this week, the 28th.
it's on Netflix.
As
Okay.
no, all on the NFL Network. You got the 9-6 Chargers taking on 3-12 Patriots. The 9-6 Broncos taking on that game's at noon, by the way, Eastern time. Broncos and Bengals. 9-6 Broncos taking on the 7-8 Bengals. 3:30 p.m. Then you got the Cardinals taking on 7-8 Cardinals taking on the L.A. Rams. Then Sunday, the game I'm looking forward to is the battle of 3-12 teams, and that is the Titans and the Jaguars. Uh, I don't think this coach is going to survive in Tennessee, John.
I'll give him another year, but I don't think he'll survive either before it's all said
I
and done.
don't
I
think
like,
he makes it here.
man, I think he does. You gotta give him at least one, give him a pass this year because you got so many skilled players that are new, and it's also a new offense for a lot of people. And I know you hired Fodder as the offensive line coach, but that's been the
Hmm.
problem all season long. Plus, I think they might be drafting a quarterback in this NFL draft, and it's not going to be. If it's not Shadir, don't be surprised by a name that we're probably familiar with, like a Dylan Gabriel from Oregon going to Tennessee Titans. But you gotta give him at least one more year, I think. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Amy Adams and company, I think would have already pulled the plug and given his dad the interim job until they find somebody. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point in time, I'll apply for the interim job if that's the case. Um, this team's terrible. This team's horrible. Will Levis is a major problem. Um, I I don't know, man. I just don't. Thank God Memphis had a good year this year because between the White
yeah.
Sox and now the Titans, the Blues are doing okay. The Blues fired their coach and now they get better. It makes no sense.
You
Um,
still got your Packers though. They're the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's different though. I mean, it's that's the Brett Favre less Packers. It's completely different, man. It's completely different.
Oh,
Now, I
that's the
mean,
something about very Brett Favre. Gotcha.
yeah, but like the other thing is, I mean, I do really enjoy the Titans, man. I mean, just year in year out. Now, don't get me wrong. I no pun intended, but I got some love for Jordan Love. The guy can play, man. He can ball. There's no doubt about it. All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump over to college basketball real quick, John.
Can we go something about the NFL real quick? Like you brought up, oh, you brought up those three
Sure.
games on Saturday. The Chargers are flying cross country to New England, where it's going to be like 20 something degrees at kickoff probably. But if let's just say the Chargers and the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos beat the Bengals and the Chargers lose to the Patriots, which Drake May and company and the Patriots are getting a lot better. But the thing is, there's talks right now that the Mayo might not survive in New England. Let's just say the Chargers do lose to the Patriots and the Broncos beat the Bengals. Right now, the Broncos and the Chargers played head to head already, where the Chargers came back and beat the Broncos. But I think if the Broncos somehow get that 7 or the 6 seed and
Mhm.
avoid that Buffalo matchup in that first round, the Denver Broncos very well can make some noise maybe in that playoff hunt. I'm not saying they're going to win in the first round, but they might surprise some people going forward.
Very true. Very true. So, let's talk a little college basketball, John. Um,
Man, it's been a few weeks for that, right?
I want to start with yeah, but I want to start with the team that a lot of people around the Memphis area,
Mm.
um, you know, you beg for fans to come out. You you hype a game up.
I was there.
John, you were there. I was going to say you were there. Um, you hype a game up, and then you get mad because people leave. You can't get mad because people leave the game. Memphis was getting ran off their own court on national TV, for that matter. Um, and it's crazy how people are quick to just, oh well, this, but then Memphis lost, and they're damn near silent now. It's crickets out of a lot of people that normally talk Memphis basketball, and I'm not being negative, John. I mean, there's things that got to be cleaned up. Let's be honest, it's very. I mean, things should have already been cleaned up. We asked the question last week before, whatever, about Musa Cisse. Well, we see this again against Mississippi State, and now he's got uh, Chris Beard, former head coach of his, Chris Beard, and an Ole Miss team coming in that a lot of Memphis fans wanted Chris Beard as their head coach. When I don't know if you remember, but Penny was quote. People were wanting Penny fired, but then Jeff Goodman says he was on the hot seat, and everybody laughs at Jeff Goodman. But anyway, I won't bring that up. John, what's going on with this Memphis basketball team, man? Terrible loss to me. I mean, I understand Mississippi State's a good team. I'm not taking anything from Mississippi State. But you got a Mississippi two step here, and you got to try to split it because if you don't split it, it's not pretty.
Yeah, like you brought up, the players and the coaching staff asked fans to show up, and they definitely showed up. There's 15,000 in attendance, but there was a lot more state fans than loudness than Tiger fans, of course, because it definitely showed in that first half where or Mississippi State jumped on you early and jumped on you often, and they were outscoring you 48-32 at half when it very well could have been a 60 piece at half because Mississippi State was clicking on all cylinders from the 3 point shot to basically playing team ball to jumping. I mean, just running up and down the court against to me, like we talked about with Sam, I think Sam brought up, yeah, Memphis might have the better matchup against Mississippi State players wise, But Mississippi State kind of did like a four guard lineup at times against your small lineup. When I say four guard lineup, anybody could dribble up the court for Mississippi State with the size that Mississippi State has. That's what I mean by it because you saw Matthews for Mississippi State have 6 assists, and he's like a small forward slash power forward,
Yep.
and you don't see that very often from a team that your leading assist guy is from your smaller power forward spot. But to be honest with you, the thing that's disappointing right now is we talked about this with Sam. I know you're down pretty much by 20 down the whole ball game, but Penny got his wish. 25 to 30 threes a game. You had 27 threes in that game against Mississippi State. You were 8 of 27, 19 of 53 from the field. You're giving up too many offensive rebounds still. That's my main issue regarding this basketball team in Memphis right now. And then you're not switching up and going to zone at all on defense. And then your full court press is not working at all either. As Mississippi State just beat it every time Memphis tried to press.
Well, I mean, look, let's also not forget, right? Memphis has what, 3 losses on the year.
Right.
So people may hear this and think, holy shit, Memphis is terrible. They're not that bad. But you can't start to John's point about a very sluggish start. In all three of these losses, it's been very sluggish. 21-5, you drop down against Mississippi State. You can't get down 21-5. Chris Jans is a good basketball coach, folks. Go back and look at some history on Chris Jans. Look at how good his teams have been. Look at where his teams have gone in postseason under Chris Jans.
They
It's
didn't
not a
beat
shot.
Tennessee in
It's
the
a
first
fact.
round last year.
It's a stat. It's a stat. But to your point, John, the Tigers were again out rebounded 46 to 32 uh, on the boards. And that's very similar to the way Auburn beat them,
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State as well. I mean, there's just the inability to contest shots, but then the inability to secure the rebound is just um, they've exposed Memphis. Memphis has been exposed, and I mean we hyped, we talked, cause we talked to Penny in preseason. We talked to him about defensively how we thought this team was going to be elite. Keep in mind, folks, they've only lost 3 games, but in those 3 losses, this team has looked putrid defensively. But on the offensive side of things, John, we talked about it earlier in the season, very early in the season. We talked about shot selection, how we felt like it was an issue. We saw it kind of start to work its way out. But, I mean, Tigers only shot 27% from beyond the arc against Mississippi State. And um, against Auburn, they only shot 38% from the floor.
Mm.
So, um, not being able to consistently generate some offense and some flow and some rhythm um, against teams that are really good defensively, like Mississippi State, like Auburn. I'll go ahead and put Arkansas State in there. I think Arkansas State's good defensively. My question is this, John: is it fatigue from this schedule that everybody is just, you know, heralded as one of the greatest ever, or is this a deeper issue? Is this a system issue? Is this a coaching issue?
I don't think it's a fatigue issue because you had 3 days off technically to get ready for Mississippi State, which you're protecting your home court, but because the schedule is tough, but you also hang on one second. You also had yeah, so technically you had Thursday, Friday, and then get ready for Saturday morning, and now you have a whole week to get ready for Ole Miss, and I really don't think it's a fatigue issue. I think it's just right now you don't have that much depth that you're using. Where Mississippi State is a team that goes 11 or 12 players deep, and the same thing is going to happen with Ole Miss. It's going to be interesting to see what happens regarding Chris Beard. How many players come off the bench like he has been playing the last couple of games off the bench? Like Matthew Morrell, for example, he might not be in that starting lineup at times, but he's going to come off the bench for an Ole Miss team. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the road, especially with conference play, because you have a Thursday, Sunday, conference game back to back.
Hmm.
One's on the road and one's at home. And I think, to be honest with you, it does not hurt, for example, to put a bench player. I know Danger is getting his minutes off the bench because CJ has
Yep.
been starting the last couple of games. But you bring a player, you bring some players in from the portal, like Yates, that played at Fayetteville High School here in town, outside of Somerville. Why not give him some minutes and see how he does? Because CJ hasn't been producing. They play the same exact position. Why not give Yates some time off the bench? Because your bench is going to be key in these conference games as well. I know people are on to slight the conference right now, but the
But it's a
conference
weak conference,
is
John,
right. But the
right?
thing is,
Isn't it a
right?
weak conference? I mean, it shouldn't matter if your bench is good or not, if it's weak, right? Or no?
I but yeah, it still does matter because anybody can hiccup, beat you in this conference because you might take a team lightly because of their record or their environment is just insane where it's sold out like 8,000 people, and you've never been to a small gym like that. Yeah, Haggerty has, and Kobe Rogers has, but other players
Yeah.
hasn't. So I think you need to use your bench a little bit more.
Well, speaking of conference play, you actually brought up great job. You brought up my next point. As much as people shit on this conference and talk about how trashy it is, and God, it's terrible, how people just trashed all the media who voted, right? That UAB team everybody's trashing can beat Memphis. You want to know why? Because they're physical.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the kryptonite for this basketball team. If you're a physical team, you can beat Memphis. Because if you're more physical, then you're going to be more aggressive on the rebounding end. You're going to be more aggressive on the defensive end. But the interior defense has got to get better for Memphis because I bring up physical for a reason. What's the kid's name? Euxin Lilberg or whatever his name is. I can't think of his name right now. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the guard for UAB, right?
Early, yeah, Yackle is his first name. That kid right there, Florida Atlantic, Tulane. John, that's potentially three losses. We're in a situation where if you're Memphis, you really don't have a margin for error
Yeah,
because your
yeah,
opportunity of quality games are about over. To your point, John, the fatigue, or I'm sorry, the depth is going to be an issue combined with what I talked about as the physical. But then you've got to be able because you don't have a lot of opportunities coming up for quote unquote quad one, quad twos. But at the same time, if you do lose, now the narrative is, oh, if Memphis loses, we drop 95 spots in the polls. So you can't lose.
yeah. Ole Miss will be your last quad one win if you win this one, because going forward, yeah, your conference games are going to be either quad two or not quad two, but quad three or quad four wins. So you definitely need to win Saturday.
Yeah. Ole Miss comes into the game averaging 81.8 points, 46% from the field, 36% from three, 74% from the free throw stripe, 35 rebounds a game, John. 16 assists, only 8 turnovers a game, assist to turnover ratio of 1.9, 10 steals, and 4 blocks a game. Um, these guys can play, and if Memphis isn't careful, uh, they're gonna catch another L at home, and it's not gonna be fun for Memphis, nor their fans. And at the same time, John, I understand the hard non-conference schedule, right? Like I enjoy it, and I love the Ole Miss Mississippi State on the schedule. But you didn't even have like you. I question it because the only person on the roster was Nicholas Jourdain. I love the schedule, but is this team built for this schedule? I understand that's why you build it to get them ready for March. I get that, but is there going to be a March at this point, John?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It really is.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
crazy, man.
I think you just had to have a schedule like this for your conference play. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I think look at what Maui was like. That North Carolina. I mean, come on now, you know what I mean? Like you're playing some ball clubs right there, but at the same time, you bulk up a non-con schedule because of a soft conference, but it's a soft conference that Memphis is yet to win.
Hmm.
And I'm not taking shots at Memphis when I say that. That's a stat. That's a fact. I just don't understand. You trash a conference, but Memphis is yet to win it.
You want to, yeah, you want to talk bad about Andy Kennedy all you want, but he sure has beaten you the last couple of times too. And this is the same people that wanted Andy Kennedy as your next basketball coach after Toby got fired. So,
Yes, yes. Also, the guy that's on the Ole Miss sideline that everybody's going to talk crap about. Everybody's going to bring up his personal past history and what happened in his personal life because
oh,
it's
don't get me.
coming this week.
Oh, I heard it
You're going to
last
see
week
it.
too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those same people that are doing that, they're the same people that are talking that shit, are the same people that were begging him to come here. Him, Will Wade. This is while Penny was head coach too. Let's not act like this is to John's point. This is not Tubby. This has been recently. Remember when Penny was going to step down? Remember he was going to step away from the team? Oh, those were internet rumors. I forgot. I forgot. Those were internet rumors that never happened. That's right. Um, one thing that's not an internet rumor, John, is Arkansas State won a damn bowl game last night,
Mm,
baby. How about the Red Wolves?
fun. We talked about this with Charles, a couple weeks ago, and now we're like, what brick by brick, Butch Jones has them like you brought up. Brick by brick, has Butch Jones is going bowling. But the way that he has turned that program around, and people were saying last year that he was going to be on the hot seat after those two blowouts that they had, and whatnot.
Mhm,
That Iowa State and Michigan game this year might have helped them out a little bit.
mhm.
So if anybody wants to throw schedule advice, a little bit of scheduling advice, you might want to take it from Arkansas State because they learned from it. Yeah, they gave Michigan a good game. They gave Iowa State a good game for a half, but I think a fatigue a little bit in the second half might have hurt them a little bit. But it just shows how much players actually want to play for Butch in good old Jonesboro, Arkansas right now.
Yeah, man. By the way, if you need tickets, head over to SeatGeek. Us at Four Star Sports Media have a great way to save you a little cheddar, and we know this time of year, any time of year, it's always a good time to save cheddar. So if you're watching right now, you see the promo code on the screen, Four Star Sports Media. If you're listening, you just heard that. Head over to SeatGeek now. When you head to SeatGeek, they've got a simple way for you to find the best avenue to buy tickets. They literally grade your tickets on a scale 1 to 10, green to red. Green is great, red is don't do it. But find any tickets $50 or more. When you do, type in that promo code you see on the screen there, which is Four Star Sports Media. When you do, that will save you $20 off your first ticket purchase. Talking college football, you are watching and listening to the Sports Buffet right here on the Four Star Sports Media Network. I'm your host, Wes Pruitt. John Sturdivant's in the house with me as well. And we're talking college football bowl. Tis the season, John. Bowl season, that is. Let's look at three games yesterday, man. Or I want to look at three games yesterday that really stood out to me. All three of them, because guess what? They were all close games. Um,
Yay! No,
by the way, shout out Toledo. Six overtimes in the game above Sports Bowls, 48-46 win over Pitt. Then we saw Kansas State knock off Rutgers 44-41 in the Rate Bowl. And we saw, as we talked about, Arkansas State, big win last night over the Bowling Green in the 68 Ventures Bowl, which is the formerly known as GMAC Bowl. And I had flashbacks of 2004, whatever year that was, five, whatever it was, that Memphis played Bowling Green, because I swear those are the same damn uniforms and helmets they wore that night. I swear they were. They looked exactly the same. Um, but big fun stuff, man. This entire bowl season has been fun. It's continuing to be fun. Um, we got games today, John. We got a game taking place right there in your backyard. That is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, 6 p.m. ESPN. 8-4 Texas Tech takes on 6-6 Arkansas Razorbacks. This is a fun one, man. This is a game that I think may surprise a lot more people, as the closeness and just how competitive this game really is. What's the feel in Memphis, John? Like, what have you seen a lot of Tech fans around? You seen a lot of hogs? You seen folks walk around with little hogs on their heads yet, or no, not yet?
well, the parade was yesterday downtown Bill Street, so I really didn't get to, due to circumstances out of my control, I couldn't really go downtown yesterday. But looking at some videos on social media, Arkansas fans like to show up and support their team no matter what. We talked about this during the Tennessee week. They were packing Razorback Stadium with 75,000 people in Fayetteville for that very well game also. But like you brought up, it's going to be anxious. I know different reports are out there that how do you have 41,000 seats sold for this game, or a lot of stadium is only doing 30,000 seats during renovations. So you're going to have a sold out crowd regardless, I think. Um, you probably have a little bit more Arkansas fans than Texas Tech, but I know darn well Texas Tech fans like to travel as well. But yeah, it's gonna be a good day. The rain's passed, so it's gonna be a night game at 6 o'clock for the first time in God knows how many years. It's gonna be a night game for once. So trade the
And
hell
okay.
Digger and Steve
What's the
Earhart for.
temperature like, man? It's always freaking cold as shit at that game. What's the temp there today?
Well, the temperature right now or during the game.
Weather report from John Strasburg. Go ahead. What's the weather?
50 something degrees at kickoff. So you probably
That's
have
not
like
bad.
54,
That's not bad.
55. Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. All right, man. You got a plate full. You got a plate full of games today, John.
Yeah, you
Kicking it
do.
off this morning. Yeah, you do. Kicking it off this morning is the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl between 6-6 Oklahoma Sooners and 9-3 Navy Midshipmen. It's gonna be a good game. 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN. Then you got the Birmingham Bowl, one that I'm looking forward to. 7-5 Georgia Tech taking on those 6-6 dadgum fighting Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt Commodore anchor down, trying to go for their seventh win of the year. Yeah, big time stuff there, John. Then you got the Direct TV Holiday Bowl between number 21 Syracuse Orangemen coming in at 9-3, taking on the 8-4 Washington State. I think this is the only team from the Pac-12 competing in a bowl. Um, but they're on Fox tonight at 7 p.m. And then another game that I'm looking forward to tonight, John, is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. I think this one may be a doozy. USC comes in at 6-6, taking on 8-4 Texas A&M. I'm telling you right now, John, do not sleep on them damn Trojans, because I don't think Texas Tech wants to be there, or Texas A&M wants to be at that game. I don't
Interesting.
think there's a lot of motivation to play in that game.
Hmm.
All right, so let's go ahead and give picks, John. We'll start with the first game, and that is Oklahoma and Navy. Who you got?
I picked Navy in my preseason, or not my preseason, but in my preseason bowl picks. I'll go ahead and keep Navy, but the speed kind of concerns me for Oklahoma. But give me Navy, control that clock, Navy, just like you did against Army, and then you'll be fine.
You know, Ken Niumatalola is no longer on the sidelines of Navy. Matter of fact, we saw him on the sidelines of San Jose State in a hell of a football game the other night. Hawaii Bowl. Um, by the way, we've got a pretty funny little graphic we made from a guy's tweet based on the Hawaii Bowl, too. It's pretty fun. If you go check that out. At 4 Star Sports M, by the way, on X. Give me give me Oklahoma, John. Because I think Navy makes some mistakes. I think there's some turnovers. I think there's some bobbled snaps, missed pitches, things of that nature. Maybe even interceptions, because we know Navy does like to throw the ball. I think I think Oklahoma gets the win.
Hmm.
hmm hmm All right, up next, it's time to take a little trip to Birmingham, man. I know you've been there before. I've been there before too. 7-5, Georgia Tech,
At this new
Rambling Wreck from
stadium,
Georgia. No, no, no. Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech comes in at 7-5, taking on the Commodores from Vanderbilt. John, I think you know who I'm going to pick in this game. So who are you going to pick?
give me Georgia Tech. I think they got the better quarterback play right now.
What?
Give me Georgia Tech. They got the better quarterback play right now. And they got the better. I like their quarterback play a little bit better right now, just because the way that they showed they can use a two quarterback rotation the last couple of games throughout the regular season. So I like the quarterback play at Georgia Tech a little bit better right now.
Hmm. Don't let Diego Pavia hear that. Give me Vanderbilt. Get the seventh win of the year. I believe I predicted this back in what, July, John?
Yeah, yeah, they're
June.
like
It's
seven
been
and five or
forever.
8-4. Yeah,
Except I had them going. I had them going seven, either 7-5 or 7-6. One of the two. But I know it was 7 wins, and we're on the cusp of it. And Clark Lee, I believe, is one that Vanderbilt needs to be worried about hanging on to because we talked about it preseason, John. He made an incredible move when he moved over to the defense, which is where he made his name, Notre Dame, other schools. And he brought in Jerry Kill,
mm-hmm.
former Minnesota coach, legendary football coach, brought him in. Mexico State, I believe, is where he was. Um, he moved over, took care of the offense. He doesn't. Clark Lee said he doesn't even worry about the offense. Look at the difference it's made in this football team when he's had a whole off season, everything with this in place. I think it's been a beautiful job, and I think, and in my opinion, I think Clark Lee is one that Vanderbilt's going to need to make sure they hold on to because this guy's a winner, and he said it the very first SEC media days, and he's kept his promise. He's here to win football games, and he's gonna make sure Vanderbilt does it. Give me Vandy, man. All right, Holiday Bowl, John. Number 21, Syracuse Orangemen 9-3, taking on Washington State, coming in 8-4. Like we talked about, Fox 7 p.m. Syracuse is an 18-point favorite. Give me Syracuse. I don't know that they cover that. Maybe, but give me Syracuse to get the win.
Yeah. Syracuse is just right now from top to bottom. They got more players that are playing in this bowl game. Plus, they still got their head coach, who I definitely like a lot. And Washington State also lost a lot of coaches, especially their head coach, over to AKA Wake Forest. So give me Syracuse. I don't think this game is going to. I think it's going to be like a 45-13 type ball game. But McCord should have a field day against Washington State.
I think Washington State keeps it close, kind of towards the end, maybe a 10, 13-point win, something like that. I don't think so, and I could be wrong, but I don't think Syracuse is going to cover, but I think they do win. Last one of the night, man. I'm excited about this one. USC 6-6, Texas A&M 8-4, 9:30 kickoff on Espen. I'll be watching. Texas A&M 8-4, John. First year under Mike Elko. I think Mike Elko did an incredible job there, and will continue to do an incredible job there. The problem is, you continue to win 8 games at Texas A&M, you won't stay there long. Crazy as that sounds, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
the crazy thing is, there's teams like Memphis that if you won 8 games a year, you wouldn't stay there long, which is insane. Um, I just don't know if there's a lot of motivation. I could be completely wrong on this. I could have someone from Texas come at me, call me a moron, idiot, whatever. I just don't feel like there's a lot of motivation to play in this game for Texas A&M. Think about where they were at the end of the season, John. They had a chance to go where?
Playoff.
Atlanta. Playoffs. What happened? They didn't do it. We've heard it all across the country. If it's not a CFP game or a big time bowl game, it doesn't matter. So I think USC gets the win tonight. I think they get their seventh win of the year. Big win for Lincoln Riley. I think his seats got a little warm, for sure, as the season has progressed. But yeah, give me USC to get the big win.
I like Texas A&M here. It might be ugly or it might be a shootout. We really don't know based on Lincoln Riley's defense. Also, another key stat. I don't know if the coach or the offense coordinator in this game for Southern Cal is actually coaching this game, as he has took a different job as well the last couple of weeks. So we got a lot of coaches probably digging right now to see who actually. I'm sure a lot of coaches are going to be doing the play calling with Lincoln Riley on this, but and also I think Southern Cal also had a few more players option out or even enter the portal. Lately for Southern Cal to. I, I want Southern Cal to win this game, but I think it's going to be tough just based on Mike Elko's defense right now in A&M. Plus, Marcelo Reed, a dual threat quarterback for an A&M. He can run it and throw it. So that's one reason I think Southern Cal might struggle a little bit in this ball game.
Let's get over to the list of the show, which is top 5 favorite Christmas foods.
Hmm.
Because I'm a fatty and I like food. I'll let you
Well,
start, John.
well, last couple of years, my family's had a taco bar, so we really haven't had that many foods per se. So maybe we can throw out tacos, out there. Um, some people still do the ham and turkey route like they do Thanksgiving. So I
Yeah.
haven't had ham probably for Christmas in like 5 years. So I still
Nice.
throw out the ham. So I still throw out the ham turkey for people, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
The
what's your
more, the more, the more traditional foods. Yeah.
right? So, but dessert, man, you got the strawberry cake, you got the Oreo cake, you got the homemade ice cream that people make these
Oh
days.
yeah.
You name it for dessert. Let's just say that whoever or coconut cake. But most
Mm,
importantly, throughout the food, man, you're just enjoying your family time during this holiday
yeah.
season.
Yeah, man.
So that's my top five right there.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Obviously, I mean, it's all about family, spending time with them. But when it comes to food, man, getting fat. Um, John, I like your taco thing. Um, lately, just my wife and I, we've been doing some different stuff. like Thanksgiving, different stuff. If we're home or Christmas, different stuff. Um, I like that idea a lot. It's a really good idea because think about it, man. After Thanksgiving, you done ate
Right.
25 pounds of turkey and 25 pounds of ham, 25 pounds of green bean casserole. Even though green bean casserole is really good. Do you want it again? Most people don't. So I like that. Taco bar, dude. I need to start coming over to Memphis to get taco bar.
Hard or soft?
But nice. Heck yeah. Multiple meats too.
Yeah, mix your boat, right?
Oh, chicken and beef and all that.
Oh yeah, man. Chicken, beef, tomatoes,
Oh, dude,
onions,
that's a win, bro.
beans,
That's a
you
win.
name it.
Oh, come on,
Mexican
stop it.
rice.
All right, man. Jeez. We're talking food here to end the show. We're fatties.
I don't
But
know about you
sports
though.
buffet. We're talking list of favorite Christmas foods. I mean, I always grew up with my family would make a lot
Oh,
of Christmas candies.
forgot one.
Uh, Go ahead.
Christmas tree cake. Those little Debbie
Yeah, I forgot about.
ones.
Yeah, man, those are good. So my family would make a lot of like Christmas candies, stuff like that. So you know, eating an enormous amount of those was always a favorite. Um, but I have to say, man, one of my was probably breakfast, dude. Like that Christmas breakfast was just always different. It's different as an adult. It's not even the same. Like Christmas is not even the same anymore, honestly, as an adult.
Hmm.
It just feels different. Maybe because we're on the other end of it now. You know what I mean? Like we really, you know, we've kind of figured some stuff out. But yeah, man, no Christmas foods, man. I got a really fat, and I'm gonna get even more fat coming up because we've got to go to some other family and stuff too. But oh man, it's gonna be a fattening time. Um, that's why come January 1, buddy, I'm gonna start working out. Me and everyone else across the country. Um, and then
Bro, you say that every
Jan-
year. Quit playing.
Jan- January 20th, no one will be in the gym. Um, but no, man. Like we said on online and everything, we do want to. We hope that everyone had a great Merry Christmas. A blessful Merry Christmas. And I mean, we hope that you have. I mean, obviously, we're going to be back before New Year's, but we hope that you have a very prosperous, blissful, joyful New Year, as well as we are looking forward to some very exciting things coming up in 2025. And when we say that, we bring you exciting things. But John, man, final thoughts real quick as we close the show up.
We'll dig into this a little bit more on Sunday, but some interesting news. Regarding the JUCO years now don't count toward your eligibility. So
Yeah,
we'll dig into it a little bit more on Sunday. We'll dig into it a little bit more next Monday. But it's going to be interesting going forward to see who actually goes to JUCO instead of D1, D2, D3, or even these days in general because the JUCO years now don't count toward your NCAA years. So be interesting to see what happens. We'll talk about that more on this weekend. But let me say this in the show. Um, Penn State winning the women's volleyball NCAA tournament. Congratulations to
no
Penn
doubt.
State Nittany Lions. I know their coach is battling cancer as we speak
Hmm.
right now. So let's just give Penn State Nittany Lions a little bit of love on the sports buffet. Um, hey, phenomenal story. If you haven't watched it yet, because they played Louisville in that national championship game. And guess where the game was held? At the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, where they had over 20,000 fans in attendance for a volleyball match. I tell you what, the
Which
women's
is crazy.
volleyball sport is growing nationally right now for fans to go out and watch. And I haven't had a chance to watch Memphis or any team in general lately in person, but that's my goal for 2025 to watch more sports regarding the women's game because you see it growing and growing and growing more. And also, let me end with this also. Ryan Day, congratulations. You won another big game. It's not Michigan, but you did beat Tennessee, so congratulations. We'll dig into that more this weekend as well. But congratulations
Yep.
to Ohio State for beating Tennessee the way they did.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It was a dominating win and one that just meant more, really. All right, man. On that note, we're gonna get out of here. But appreciate everybody watching and listening. As always, folks, stay classy.